on the play. All a shot save. Pasternak scores! David Pasternak!
At home.
Hello, everybody. I'm Grant Fluff from Fletcher Sports Zone, along with our buddy, Mr. Merowitz, Nate, joining the channel for the first time. He's going to be talking about his beloved Chicago Bears. We have Kyle in the room. We have Sam in the room. We have Keegan in the room, and we got Zoe in the room, too. I don't think they're going to be placing much of their input, but maybe. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But
I don't know garbage about the Bears.
Okay. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Bears free agency. So obviously they have the number one overall pick. We can quickly take a look at, there's the free agents. We also have the Bears contracts up as well. Eddie Jackson will be getting paid the most next year at over $17 million. And Justin Fields sitting there at $5 million. Gotta expect he's going to get that payday in a couple of seasons from now. But I don't know. Well, we talked about the Bears. I think we should talk about the first overall pick first, Nate. Who do you see them selecting?
That is a great question, Grant. I think it's between two players. I mean, Will Anderson would be a great pick for the Bears. I mean, we'll just need to figure out where his spot will be on the Bears. Mm-hmm. He's a very interesting player. And then we got the other prospect.
Dexter Carter?
No, Jalen Carter.
Oh, Jalen Carter, sorry.
Yeah, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle. He could help the Bears a lot, too, in multiple ways.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree with you there. I think they're going to go Will Anderson, number one. I know that there was a rumor that, they were going to trade down with the Colts or the Panthers. I just don't see it personally. The Bears, they only won 3 games. They have really struggled on defense, and I think if they do use that number one selection to at least bolster the defensive line, that's a step in the right direction. And now we look at their $90 million in salary cap, and this is where I think they're going to make drastic moves on the defense. They could also, I guess, use a little bit of help on the offensive line too. So real quickly, we're just going to look at tackles and guards. Nate can go through the list and kind of go over any players the Bears might pick up here. I think Roger Saffold might be a good pickup. He was a very valuable lineman on the Titans and the Bills. George Fant could potentially be coming back. But again, with a lot of money, I think they would want to go after someone potentially a little bit better.
Yeah.
Any of these names stick out to you? Andre Dillard, Dan Feeney, Trey Turner. Who else we got here? Riley Reif had a good bounce-back season with the Bengals. He's also a Patriots fan. How about Isaiah Wynn? You don't want more holding penalties?
No, don't want the fat kid from
No.
Georgia.
Don't go for Isaiah Wynn. You want to win.
You could bring back Jason
could be
Peters
glad
on
to
a
take
one-year
him away
deal.
from
That'd be funny. Let's take a look at some other guys here. Max Scherpling, he's been a really good player on the Commanders. Dennis Kelly, a good tackle. So the Bears could definitely go after some offensive linemen. But I think the main concern right here for the Bears is, as we mentioned, it's the defense. And you know what? They have lost a couple of pieces over the years. They've lost Kyle Fuller. They've lost Roquan Smith. And now they're kind of just left with Eddie Jackson and a pretty mediocre linebacking core for the most part. Tyler Gordon, very good safety, our corner safety, secondary player for the Bears. But, we talk about could the Bears, improve on their defensive line. Is there a chance that Robert Quinn potentially returns?
I don't think it's that possible, actually.
Ooh. How come?
Because I think that, the only way it would be possible, I feel like, is if we signed him to a shorter deal worth less money. Because I feel like, because I know the first time we signed him for a lot of money, and a lot of people didn't really think it was that necessary of an addition.
I see what you're saying. All right. Well, if this man doesn't get franchise tagged by the Bengals, he's another man I think that they could target, and that is Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
Any input on the Pro Bowler?
I think that would definitely be a great sign for the Bears. They definitely need help on the back end of the secondary with, Eddie Jackson. I know ever since that contract, he hasn't performed up to the expectations that we Bears fans have all been expecting. And I think if we get another safety that can hit better, get those picks, make some big plays in the field, then I think that we'd be getting ourselves a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Jesse Bates, this would work for him as well since he is only 26 by the time next season starts. Now we shift our focus to the defensive line. Jadeveon Clowney clearly wants out of Cleveland. Is that a player you could see the Bears picking up?
Again, I think it's similar with Robert Quinn's situation. Clowney would be a good, I guess, a short-term player in the team. The problem is with him, probably worse, is with how much money he'll be asking for because he's got all the athletic ability in the world.
All right, now Keegan would like to...
I'm going to give this in the Mr. Michaels voice to what Nate just said. Bingo!
No. Okay.
Short
No,
deal, depending on the money.
Now Kyle would like to
Okay,
talk
he played
about it
for
as
my
well.
team. And he had 3 sacks, and he hurt players such as Carson Wentz. He purposely injured players, too. He is a bad person as a human, and he is not a good player.
We all despise Jadeveon Clowney, and I thought I would because he owned the Jaguars for 3 years. Oh, my God. All right. What? Okay, so another pending free agent is the Seattle Seahawks' very own Poona Ford entering free agency. Keegan is saying the Bears should outright avoid this man. Keegan? Good. He's a good Nate, he's a good run stopper.
Yeah, I think that he would be pretty good on the Bears, especially on their D tackles. It would help a lot.
Take a look at the Bears defensive tackles. We're looking at Jalen Holmes here, and of course Angelo Blackson and Donovan Jeter. Both of those men are on essentially practice squad deals, so you could definitely look to improve on the defensive end of things. Jalen Holmes had a very nice season, but pretty much the only starting caliber D lineman they have on the roster at the moment, I would say. All right, now we talk about enough about the free agents. Now we talk about offseason just moves in general. With Chase Claypool, all right, you traded a second-round pick to get him. His contract expires in 2 seasons. What do you want to do with Chase Claypool? Do you keep him around for the rest of his rookie deal and let him walk, or do you try to trade him and get some draft capital back?
I would say we should trade him and try to get some draft capital back.
Yeah.
He really hasn't done anything for us last year, the Bears.
Yeah, let's take a look at Chase Claypool here. Yeah, I know he did not look impressive once he left the Steelers. In general, he only had 1 touchdown last year. Yeah, and in 7 games with the Bears, 14 catches for 140 yards.
Less than 50%.
Oh, great. You said he had 1 year left on the thing?
Yeah, after next year. He's got
so trade him, get some picks, so instead if he walks out as a free agent, you get nothing.
And then we also talk about, let's see who else we can talk about here. Trevor Gill, good rookie punter. Just had to point that out. I'm a big fan of special teams players. All right, and then obviously with David Montgomery hanging in free agency as well. Listen, it's very clear that Khalil Herbert can be the starting running back on the Bears. He showed absolutely no issue with it when Montgomery was out last year. Where do you see Montgomery landing in free agency?
That is a great question, Grant. I gotta say, in terms of, I can see a team like maybe the Rams.
Maybe the
perhaps.
Rams go 1-2 punch with Cam Akers. What did I say in my offseason prediction video? Panthers?
Montgomery could come to the Seahawks.
He could come to the
Him and
Seahawks.
Kenneth
Maybe.
Walker would be unstoppable.
Yeah, I wonder how much money.
But the problem is,
I'm
it's
thinking
expensive.
Falcons
Yeah.
would be another good option.
Running backs
It's,
want money, so it's tough.
it's clear that Montgomery's a starting caliber running back. It's just he's not an upper tier starting
Correct.
caliber
Absolutely.
running back.
I think that's fair.
I think on a team like Carolina, I think on a team like Atlanta,
Yes.
you split the backfield with Kenneth Walker in Seattle. You split the backfield with J.K. Dobbins in Baltimore. I think you're looking at a very successful running back.
Yeah.
Kind of use that 1 year to be a backup running back and then sign as a starter next
Well,
season.
let's be honest.
I think I also
He had
said
one bad year this year.
Yeah.
Montgomery was really good as a running back
Yeah.
before this year.
I
He
think
was
I
a
also
top
said
performer.
Arizona, which I think that'd be good. Montgomery
Yeah.
could be the primary back, and you can keep James Conner as the
Yeah.
goal line back.
Just like,
I think that would work.
Chase Edmonds. 1-2
Exactly,
punch they
just
had.
like Chase
Yeah.
Edmonds and James Conner, what the Cardinals had last year. I think you could see something very similar. Chase Edmonds, a little bit smaller and a little bit
Yeah.
taller than Montgomery, but I do see a little bit of similar traits between the two players.
Can I throw out an option?
Absolutely, Keith.
It's one that you don't think about because they got two big names, but since Ingram's getting older, Kamara's been on the down.
I was
Look at
thinking
New
the
Orleans.
Saints, but
He could.
No,
I
the
don't
Saints
know.
can't afford them. They're in negative $50 million.
yeah, I mean, especially now that they have Mark Ingram, still it really seems unlikely,
Money.
but that's not a terrible guess. Anything else we want to touch on?
I don't think so. I don't
think so?
It's good.
All right, I guess we could talk about this too, since the Bears probably need another receiver than Darnell Mooney. What's one receiver you want to either sign for or trade for this offseason? Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is in the trade rumors. You have guys like Jacoby Myers.
Get Nelson Aguilar out of the
Nelson
New England.
Aguilar.
Yeah,
You could steal Allen Lazard from the Packers. What are we thinking here?
Well, I mean, this isn't going to happen, but signing Hopkins would be great, but he would not do that. But in terms of the Green Bay Packers, Allen Lazard, I would like to have that signing a lot, but I am not. I hope it happens. I mean, it's possible, but I think since they're rivals, it may not slide that much.
But I've been very impressed with Allen Lazard. The Jaguars, of course, drafted him, let him walk, and Packers were able to pick him up, and he's been very good deep threat for them ever since. I wish he stayed longer on the Jaguars. Therefore, we wouldn't have had to give Christian Kirk or Zay Jones all that money potentially. But regardless, I'm happy with the receiving core now. And, it's the other thing I gotta say to all you Bears fans. I was in your spot 2 years ago. Drafting number 1 overall, I get it. It sucks losing. But you have all this money. Don't let it go to waste. Look at the Jaguars. They go out and spend. They rehaul their linebacking core. They get Christian Kirk. They get Evan Ingram. They sign Cam Robinson to a long-term deal. They make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say for you Bears fans. Patience. You can make the playoffs in a couple of years. We don't know what's going on with the Aaron Rodgers situation. The Vikings are going to be in cap hell soon enough. The Lions are good, but are they great? I think the Bears right now have the potential to be better than the Lions in a couple of seasons. All I'm going to say is patience and make sure this money you have, close to $90 million, you got to use it properly. And also, don't have to spend it all this offseason.
Just build around Justin
Use
Fields.
most,
That's
Yeah.
but build around Fields
Don't
and
trade him away.
increase
Oh,
on the defense. I think that's
Yeah.
your two main points. If you improve on that D-line and you give Fields
another
another
option.
receiver and maybe another lineman, I think you're set and you can win 6 or 7 games
Yeah.
next year.
Grant, what are you looking for a receiver for Chicago?
Chicago, I mean,
What
in
are the
terms
free
of
agent
receivers,
ones?
I think Lazard definitely makes a lot of sense. I think Jacoby Myers makes a lot of sense too, honestly. I think if
You're
a team-
Marquise Goodwin. What about him?
Marquise Goodwin, I mean, maybe.
Keelan
But
Cole,
I think
Sammy
the
Watkins.
Bears are going to have to target a wide receiver
I just
too.
feel like the
Yeah.
Bears want to get
just
They should be getting a
Claypool's
tougher
not
quality
cutting it,
kind of
and
receiver.
Mooney can't do it all by
They're
himself.
settling for
Exactly.
such lower quality receivers than
And-
the Bears. They need to get a higher quality
Well,
receiver.
that's what I'm saying. Claypool's not cutting it, and Mooney, you got to give Mooney some support too. I think Cole Kmet, what a draft pick. I
Yeah.
think he is far and away going to be a top 10 tight
love
end
Cole Kmet.
next year, if not
Instead of
couple
Jimmy
years
Graham
down the
Bears.
Yeah.
Of course, tutored under Jimmy Graham when his
Yeah.
2020 rookie year. But yeah, the Bears got a lot of work to do, but they're in the right position to get themselves back on track.
I agree. They just need to spend the money wisely.
Correct.
$90 million. I mean, that can't go to waste.
I mean, you have a
You
good
got-
coaching staff too. You no longer have Matt Nagy running the show. You had a guy who ran a fantastic defense in Indianapolis, who developed guys like Shaquille Leonard and Kenny Moore. You
DeForest
can't
Buckner.
let DeForest Buckner was drafted by San Francisco, but who brought in DeForest Buckner? Like,
And
you have a coach who clearly knows what he's doing with these defensive players. Deron Payne, another free agent. If he doesn't get franchise tagged by Washington, boom, you can increase that run defense. If he's not available, sign a cheap option like Poona Ford, like a Robert Quinn. If he doesn't retire, try to go out and get a guy like Fletcher Cox. It's all possible.
Yeah,
Get a
maybe
guy
that's
like
one year
Yannick
deal.
Ngakoue.
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
like that.
I like Yannick Ngakoue as an option.
He ages, but he still does
The
good with
assistant
the age.
mayor of Saxonville next to
really
Calais
good.
Campbell. Trade for Calais Campbell. Why not?
That would be-
Yeah,
that would be
36-year-old.
great.
Well, if you're starting to rebuild, you want to go young.
Nah, but
No.
you gotta still have some
36,
veterans on the team.
No.
Yannick Ngakoue would be a
Yeah, I think
Ngakoue's
Ngakoue
really
would
good
be a
addition
good
for
Put
fit.
up
the
with
Bears.
his
Bring in
Bears.
Keelan
He
Cole.
fits the
Keelan Cole.
the Bears. I mean, Eberflus's scheme as their weak side defensive end. I mean, Ngakoue is the perfect addition for that.
All right, we're about to wrap up the video here, but Keegan's trying to find me a certain individual that the Bears could also sign to a one-year deal to bolster their wide receiver core. And there it is,
Very
Keelan Cole.
very clutch player.
Yeah, he had that quote-unquote
The
touchdown
Raiders.
Yeah.
against the Patriots this year.
Oh.
Yeah, he's had a lot of
Touchdown
those.
I say quote-unquote because it
Sam,
definitely
I'm more
wasn't.
fan of the Hunter
But-
Henry one that should have been a touchdown.
One more thing.
Well,
that we
Bias
should
was a high
mention.
school
Oh,
quarterback.
Nate
He
wants to
threw that
mention one
ball.
more thing.
The one thing that we haven't picked up on is the Bears need linebackers.
Absolutely.
I mean, who knows? I mean, if maybe Will Anderson, he could be a potential linebacker, but he could also
Or he
play
should
on the
more.
edge on third down.
Yeah, edge rush.
I mean, he's not big enough, I feel like, to be a full-on defensive end.
Yeah, he's versatile though.
I think he would be good as a strong side linebacker. He can rush, he can cover, he can stop the run. This guy's a chess piece. I think the Bears, if they draft him, they should use him kind of like the way Cowboys use Parsons.
And I hate to bring up another former Jaguar, but why not acquire Miles Jack?
Yes.
Great, fast, off the ball
The Steelers?
linebacker. Great in pass coverage. Can also stop the run pretty easily.
Yeah.
He had a bounce back year with the Steelers after
Gotta
having
get
a couple of
tackles.
mediocre seasons in Jacksonville. You know what? You want to talk about a player that's not old but isn't young. You know,
Here's what,
can
28?
yeah, 27, 28. You still can bring in a guy who's young enough to produce numbers and can stay a couple extra seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying the video. I'm Grant Flood along with Nate Merowitz saying enjoy the rest of your evening. This is our Chicago Bears free agency predictions. And Nate, I'd love to have you back on the channel.
It was a pleasure to be on here, Grant.
Absolutely. We'll have you back on during football season. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Great. Well, again, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next video.